If you have any AI anxiety about the job market, do this right now.
I think people are super screwed right now. How can you separate yourself from someone else? And I think it comes down to knowing yourself.
One document, 7 minutes, it's gonna change your life. It's called the Telos File, a single markdown file that describes everything about you. And then we'll give it to AI so it can hack you. What? Trust me, it's amazing. It's gonna unlock blind spots you never knew you had. But hold up, Chuck, what are you talking about? Well, it all comes down to this. In the age of AI, you need to be able to tell people what you're about. Picture this, you step into an elevator, doors close, I'm standing there. I look over to you and say, explain yourself. 2 sentences, 8 seconds, go. Can you do that? Odds are you probably can't, because I couldn't do it. Until about 6 months ago, I talked to this guy named Daniel Miessler, an OG hacker. He's been in cybersecurity for like 25 years. And now he's building AI stuff. He built Fabric, a tool I use every day. He showed me this new thing he created called Telos. It's a framework that helps you figure out you.
It's a text-based infrastructure and schema for capturing things that matter to humans.
Putting everything about you into one document. Your goals, your missions, your challenges, your insecurities. This process forces you to get real with yourself, getting brutally honest with who you are and with what's happening.
People will lose jobs.
Yeah. I don't know how fast people are going to adapt.
You really need to know who you are and what you're about. But the interesting thing is, this is not just for you. This document is structured in a way for AI to know you. That sounds weird, I know, but we can do things like this, red teaming your life, unlocking blind spots you never even knew you had.
So if I give it examples of where I was wrong, it can figure out maybe a trend. So it can apply to my current thinking of my current predictions and be like, you might be wrong about this one, in the same way you were wrong about that other one.
So by the end of this video, my goal is that you will have started your very own Telos file. Give me just 7 minutes and we'll have the major sections filled out. Enough to pen test your life, and let's be honest, you need a pen test. You got some vulnerabilities, and you're gonna be that person that can give that elevator pitch, proving that you know what you're doing. You have a purpose, goals, you know where you're going, and you're excited about it. Doesn't that sound awesome? By the way, I'm gonna show you my Telos file at the end of this video, and show you some things I learned about myself through hacking myself. It's pretty crazy, but fair warning, this is going to be a difficult process because it's gonna make you dig deep, getting a little raw.
The fact that it is difficult and the fact that it's slow and deliberate, I think has its own intrinsic value.
So get your coffee ready, grab the template below. It's time for you to get to know you. 7 minutes to figure out your life. Put it on the clock, let's go. But hold up, that sounds a little far-fetched, doesn't it? Because you might be like me 6 months ago. Daniel Miessler showed me this simple markdown file and said, hey Chuck, it's gonna change your life. And I'm like, okay. But after 3 meetings totaling over 6 hours, I get it. And it's the simplicity of that markdown file that makes this so powerful.
That's it. It is a context file written in text that understands pretty much everything about you that you can use in various ways, with AI or without.
But check this out. You're gonna get 2 things out of this that are massively gonna change your life. 1, you're gonna know you. You're gonna figure some stuff out. You're gonna get clarity on what you're doing, where you're going, who you are. And in the words of my mentor, Jeremy Chara, clarity is life. The second thing you'll get out of this is context. Context on you. When you're working with any AI system, doesn't matter which one it is, could be local and private, public, you can instantly give it every bit of your context to work through your problems, to figure out where you're going, to talk it through. That's a superpower. You're about to see the power of that here in a moment. Man, did I find some things out. Also, give it to a person, a trusted advisor, a best friend, and say, hey, hold me accountable, help me figure some things out. Those 2 things are life-changing. So go ahead, open up your Telos file, and it looks like this. I told you, it's basic, and that's why it's amazing. Now, first of all, Telos. What is that?
And Telos, it means purpose, is what it means from the Greek. And it basically means that a thing has a natural purpose.
And that's why Daniel chose this word, because this document will describe your why for existence. Why did you get up today? Why will you get up tomorrow? Let's figure that out right now. Now here are the 4 main sections we're gonna pay attention to. Problems, missions, forgot to add my S, let me add that. Just mosey on over. Narratives and goals. If we zoom out, the point of these is twofold. First, you're gonna figure out you. You're gonna know you very well. But second, and this might be both the most encouraging and scariest thing I'll say to you in this video. For the last 200 years, your work, your job, has been your identity. At least for most people. I mean, think about it. When someone meets you, what do they ask you? Hey, Bob, what do you do? Craig, what is your job? Because that has always defined us. But AI is changing that up a bit. Now, this isn't a doom and gloom video about AI taking our jobs, but this is going to be a reality check that AI is certainly changing our jobs. So filling in your problems, your missions, your narratives, your goals helps you figure out what you're doing, not what your company is doing. Yes, they have a mission statement, and maybe you're supportive of that, but many of us don't have our own.
No, it's like, what are you about? That's your job. What are you about? Right? What are your opinions of the world? What do you think should be different? And I don't think people are trained to think that way.
What are you about? Figuring this out is the most future-proof thing you can do for yourself right now. If you have any AI anxiety about the job market, do this right now. And by the way, this isn't all your Telos file has to be. You can get crazy. I'll show you later. But for now, let's focus in on our 4 sections. 7 minutes on the clock, let's do this. Let's zoom in on problems. Problems are the things you see wrong in the world that you want to actively solve.
And these are not problems that we internally have. This is like, what is the big problem in the outside world that we're trying to solve?
So if you're Miss America, that might be world hunger. But for you, it might be different. In fact, I know it is because I asked you on social media. Many of you responded with the problems you see in the world, and they were amazing. In fact, I'm gonna use a few of those as my examples here in a moment. The rest I compiled in a list anonymously, don't worry, but you should check it out, link below. It's so encouraging to see that people are seeing these problems, and they wanna fix it. It gives me hope, and it might give you some ideas. Now here are some example problems many of you put down. Unrealistic experience requirements for entry-level tech jobs, or children and teens are not safe online, and you want to help with that. Or you're tired of people getting scammed, their identity stolen. These are big problems you see in the world, things that frustrate you. But you also might be like, hey Chuck, I don't really have any big world problems. I have my own problems. Like, I'm just trying to get a job so I can provide for my family. I want to get into tech and I'm trying to study for my certifications. That's my problem. Waking up tomorrow to do that. And if that's your frustration, if that's your problem, write that down. But what I want to point out is that many of those personal frustrations can become bigger world problems. For example, I want to find a job. And you yourself might encounter the paradox of needing experience, but you have to have a job to get experience. As you're battling that reality, you might start to think, that's a problem that really bothers me, and I want to solve this problem for good, for many people, because many people experience that. Boom, you got your problem. So for now, write down whatever frustrates you. Write down personal things you're trying to solve, but also take the time to think, does this affect anyone else? Is this a bigger problem? Why is this a problem? Now you could spend a lot of time on this, but we don't have time right now. You got 7 minutes. Just jot what you can down. By the way, I do have a prompt below that you can copy and paste into ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, and it will guide you through this process. And once you've identified a problem or a few problems, it's time for you to do something about it, or at least plan to. And these are your missions, the things that you are going to do about the problems you see.
Oh, and I've got a trick for making this, which is called the most important sentence, which was something like, I think one of the biggest problems in the world is this, which is why I'm this. And that helps us fill this in. And it's like the perfect, like, unifying thing. It unifies problems and our mission.
Again, your one problem might be that you're trying to get a job, and your mission is to get a job. Or you want to battle child exploitation and trafficking, so you want to develop some insane hacking skills. But notice how our problems are chaining to our missions. And that's the key to this whole process. Let's move on. Once you've settled on your mission, now it's time to tell that story. This is your elevator pitch, your narrative. Again, you walk into an elevator, you're standing next to me. I ask you, what are you about? 8 seconds, maybe you got 15 seconds, maybe you got 30 seconds, tell me, go. I might help you with your idea, fund your idea, join you. You never know what's going to happen. So whether you're at a party, a mixer, a job interview, you wanna have what you're about ready to go.
My favorite analog for this is like, so you're just like in a wide open field, I don't know why you're there, but visiting alien shows up and they got a clipboard and they're just like, who are you? And you're like, I'm Jason. I do spreadsheets at work. It's 8 hours a day. It's good work. I make money. And they're like, no, you don't understand. Who are you? What are you about? What are you here to do? And they're just like, what do you mean? Like, I told you I'm a spreadsheet person. I do this. And through this conversation, they realize they don't know who they are. They don't know why they're on the planet.
So maybe the story of how you're transitioning from retail to jumping into cybersecurity. And you can have different versions of your narrative, shorter ones for those short elevator rides, or longer 30-second pitches when you're sitting at a dinner or something. People care about stories, and this is the story of what you're doing. Make them care. And you know what's cool? In the process of doing this yourself, you start to care more. Now, this one might take you a minute, but don't spend too much time. Just sit there and type out, just blah, spit it out. You can always use AI to go back and help you figure it out, finesse it a bit. But don't let this hamper your progress. Let's move on. Hey, it's time for a quick coffee break. This coffee break is brought to you by a problem I see in the world right now. Problem. Traditional VPNs leave home and business networks vulnerable. They're also complicated to manage and frustrating to use. So it's my mission to tell everyone about TwinGate, the sponsor of this video, and what I use instead of a traditional VPN for remote access. Because I'm all about ditching risky VPNs for TwinGate, making secure remote access effortless for people and businesses. So my goal is simple. Get 30 of you to try out TwinGate right now. It's free. All you need is 5 minutes. Get a Raspberry Pi. You've got like 10 of those laying around, right? Set up a free TwinGate account. It's what I use and I still don't pay for it. Install a connector on your Raspberry Pi, or really any machine running inside your network. And that's pretty much it. Enjoy remote access. Remote access that's actually zero trust. And it's not just one big tunnel into your network. No, you've got granular control. Bob only has access to your NAS. Susie can only access your Plex server from anywhere without opening up ports in your network. Don't be insecure, stop it. But seriously, thank you to TwinGate for sponsoring this video and for being a long-term sponsor of my channel. I love the product, use it every day. And that's a coffee break. Let's get back to figuring out your life. But you're welcome, we got this part of your life figured out. You're just a little bit more secure. You've identified a problem, you've got your mission, you can tell the story of that mission, but now it's time to actually do stuff. That's your goal, or your goals. And good goals are always smart. They're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time-bound. These are the things you're actually doing to make your mission happen. You want to land that first cybersecurity role, but you also want to make it measurable so you have metrics, and it's time-bound. You can't battle child trafficking with hacking skills unless you have hacking skills. Get those certifications. Again, you could spend a lot of time here, but don't. Just jot down some goals, think about it for a moment, let's move on. Because you can go back to this, because you will go back to this. The point of this process is to jot down what you're doing and revisit it. Keep coming back because you gotta make sure you're on track. Now that's the 4 main parts of the Telos file. Filling these out gets you on mission. They give you a reason to wake up in the morning. Sit down, spend some time with it, think about it. For me, I had to set aside a few hours and just spend some time with God and praying and asking, hey, what should I care about? But I'm telling you, doing this, getting this kind of clarity will save your life. It'll make your life. And sure, the idea of setting goals and planning and all that is not new. But what's different about this is that it's simple and it's in one markdown file. And that's killer for a variety of reasons, but we'll get to that here in a moment. We still have more sections to worry about. And this is where it gets kind of open-ended, which is why I'm just gonna draw on the screen now. You'll definitely want to include a section on history. So hashtag, a second level heading for history. This is your history, what you've been through, the events in your life that brought you here. I was born and raised in Texas. I failed 3rd grade twice. Going through this process will have 2 amazing benefits for you. First, going back and reflecting is gonna change you a bit. The old adage is true, you can't know where you're going until you look at where you've been. And you'll start making connections like, maybe the reason I'm having trouble studying and I'm not confident in what I'm doing is because I failed 3rd grade twice. Just things like that. And this can get kind of raw and brutal because you are getting to know you a bit better. But it's not just about that. As we're describing you in this one single file, we're getting context on you and what you're doing. Context that we can feed into any kind of AI to help us see things we've never seen before. This is what AI is great at, seeing a bunch of data and making connections for us. Things that the human brain struggles to do sometimes. Being able to ask an AI, hey, here's me, what am I missing? Oh my gosh, how powerful is that? Now I get it. You're thinking, Chuck, security hole. I'm not giving my information to an AI. That's fine. Use local AI, make it private, whatever you're comfortable with. And even if you never share this with an AI, just creating this now for yourself is insanely valuable. Now, once you got history down, and by the way, you'll want to keep filling this out. I'm still filling mine out. I'll think about things every once in a while. You might have a section on challenges. One challenge might be, I don't have a computer and I have to overcome that because it's hard to learn cybersecurity when you don't have a computer. Or I don't have any contacts with law enforcement, so it might be hard to start battling child trafficking. Or maybe a challenge is that you find it hard to be consistent with your studying schedule every day. The more brutally honest you can get with yourself here, the better you'll be able to solve your problems and achieve your goals, your missions, and solve that bigger problem. You, yourself, you're getting a bird's eye view of your life. And then AI can even come in and go, I see the problem you have. I've got a solution for you didn't think about before. Think about that. Oh, I'm so excited for you to do this because I found some stuff too. And then you can expand to whatever section you want to add as you're trying to build the life you want. A life of value, a life of purpose, a life you're proud of.
And tell it what the basic flow is: problem, mission, which kind of includes narratives, goals, challenges, and strategies and projects. These are kind of the core. And what's really cool about this structure here is that when you have a project on this list, you know why you're doing the project.
Maybe you'll add a section on insecurities, things that hold you back, that ultimately you want to conquer. And by the way, you can label these however you want. Put I1. The AI will be able to know your structure. And your insecurities might be, I can't speak in public. Or, and this is actually one of my real ones, and I can't believe I'm saying this right now. And you may not know this about me. I'm short. You can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I'm 5'7", and it massively impacts my confidence. I'm telling you, this one document is supposed to become your best therapy session. And maybe something you can hand to your therapist. Like, hey, let's not waste any time. Read this. You can add a section on finances, strategies. A strategy might be, I'm trying to wake up early every day to study. Or I have a home assistant automation that turns off my internet at 8 p.m. so I can read a book. And by far, the most useful thing you'll add to this, the most useful section will be your journal or your logs. You'll put this at the very bottom of your file because you'll always add to this.
The point of putting those in there is when the AI sees it, it's going to see these oscillations. Okay? This is the basis for using this thing as a therapist. It just life stuff, diary. I mean, that's the old word for it, right? You write in a diary. So journal, you might be thinking like a journaling file system or something like that. This is not technical. This is very personal. It's very human. So it's like, hey, I just haven't been able to get out of bed lately. I feel like all my ideas are dumb.
And by the way, make a habit of whenever you add anything to your Telos file, because you will be editing this, this is a living document, add a timestamp, date and time, when you're doing it, keep track of what you're doing. Journal and logs. It could be as simple as a bullet point with the date and a short thing like, I didn't study today. I saw a tweet about AI taking jobs. I got stressed and I just played video games. Just one thing at the end of each day. Doesn't have to be a lot, can be very, very simple. It can also be complex. Like what I do is very complex. I'll show a sanitized version of what I do right here on the screen, but I have a daily note in Obsidian that I log my day. Like as my day goes on, I'm logging and chatting with this document. And at the end of the day, I journal and think about my day and process things. And then I have this automation that will take all of that and summarize it, boom, into a bullet point at the end of my Telos file. So not only have I given this document a ton of static context on what I'm about, where I'm from, what I'm dealing with, what I want to do, I'm also documenting the daily things I'm doing. And let me tell you, I've been doing this Telos thing for a month, 2 months? I think it's been like 3 months. Oh my goodness. The way I'm able to pen test myself with AI and it to totally roast me for the things I'm missing is incredible. I'm telling you, you have to do this. Now, you're probably wondering, Chuck, what do you mean? How are you using AI to pen test you, to roast you? Let me show you. But at this point, I want you to have at least the main 4 sections filled out, maybe a bit of your history, put some logging in there, and then we can do some fun stuff. So as I said before, Daniel Miessler created a tool called Fabric. If you don't know what Fabric is, I made a video on it like right here. It's a way to interact with AI through command line. And let me give you a taste for what I'm doing with my Telos file. So inside Fabric, we have these things called patterns, which are essentially just prompts. Daniel made some for Telos that are extremely powerful. One that I love is red team thinking. Let's see what that is. Here's the prompt, which by the way, you can just copy and paste this into ChatGPT. You don't have to use Fabric, but Fabric makes it significantly easier. So I've got an alias, a command called Telos that will look at my Telos file and output it as standard out. I'll just pipe that into Fabric and it's going to hack me right now or pen test my mind. Can't believe I'm showing you this because this is my real Telos file. So, anyone else identify with this? Your journaling reveals chronic procrastination patterns, masked as productive busyness. I've been distracted with NAN. Wow, look at this. You're peering inside my soul right now. I honestly cannot believe I'm showing you this. But look at the recommendations it'll get. Like, it sees me. It gets me. Oh, this is good. Replace emotional, spiritual highs with steady, boring faithfulness. That's good. Let me show you some more. This one, create opening sentences. That's helping you create your narratives. So let me try that one. I mean, this is awesome. This is so cool. So like, if I don't have a good narrative, I'm like, oh, I need something for this party I'm going to. Boom, I've got this. Guys, I'm telling you, you have to try this. Find blind spots. This. Look at this is kicking my butt. Measuring success through YouTube metrics while claiming to surrender outcomes to God. planning elaborate systems without accounting for your documented pattern of abandoning them, and viewing interruptions as failures rather than divine appointments for family and ministry moments. Dude, you're seeing me be therapized right now. But these are insights that when you're in it, like when you're in your life, you don't see these. That's why they call them blind spots. But this one I love. When you need some encouragement, it's not all pen testing. And I'm okay with sharing this. And this is cool. This kind of stuff is what makes me excited about AI. So here we go. If you're still at the point where you're like, Chuck, I don't get it. It's just a stinking document. It's just markdown. This is nothing groundbreaking or new. And I would say you're right. This is just simple. And that's why it's kind of amazing. It's not doing anything different from those other self-help programs that walk you through setting out goals and things. It's not different than that. You're achieving the same end. But what's unique about this, which I guess does mean it's a bit different, is that it's simple. There are some guidelines, there is a bit of a framework so you don't go too off the rails, but then at that point you can add whatever section you want, and it's designed, tailored to be used with the AI to help you, to augment you and not replace you. Now I alluded to this fact earlier in the video that AI is changing jobs. It is. We can't ignore that. Now personally, I don't think jobs are going away, but I do think they're changing fundamentally. And for us to be ready for whatever that is, because really no one knows. No one knows what's going to happen. But whatever is going to happen, if you're doing something like this, the Telos File, where you're figuring yourself out and you're identifying problems to solve, and you're proactive about all this, you're gonna be okay, no matter what happens. Now, a few things I forgot to mention. This Telos File, again, will become large. So I'm just gonna use this little typed out word as my Telos File. This thing can become larger, and you wanna be careful with that, because if you wanna feed it to an AI, it may not be able to hold the context of what your Telos File is. Maybe too many tokens, maybe it can't pay attention to all that you're saying. AI is getting better. We're at almost 2 million context windows now, so I think you're gonna be okay for the time being. But if you have to, you can section things off. You can have your journal separate, so maybe another document that's bulleted. That way you can separate it out, or maybe you have your journal sectioned by months or years, and you can summarize them when they get to a certain point. There are options. And there are about 5,000 ways to do this, and very cool ways. I even saw people inside Daniel Miessler's unsupervised learning community, which is very cool. I just joined it recently. It's people who obsess over this and are always tweaking their lives. I love that. I geek out over that. But one guy said that he will, instead of journaling, typing it out or writing, he has a prompt that he does with ChatGPT in the voice mode, where it takes him through a few prompts as he's walking and just has a conversation, then it outputs the result of that conversation at the end of his Telos File. So don't let anything stop you from doing this, because there's about 15,000 ways to do it. And also don't let that overwhelm you. Just start simple, jot something down, write one thing today. But I'm telling you, no matter what stage you're in, I'm the high school, middle school, I'm gonna have my kids try and do this. Don't get bogged down in the rules of the framework, just take the step to identify what you're about. And use the tools we have at our disposal to help you with that. AI is an insanely good sounding board for ideas. That's all I got. Massive shout outs to Daniel Miessler for taking the time to help me understand this entire Telos process and for putting me on this path. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that he gave me the opportunity to talk about this with you guys, because I think it will massively help you out. Clarity is life. And I would love to know below if you were able to do this. Let me know your thoughts. This was a different type of video. I am showing a tool, but it's more of a life tool, not so much a technical tool. But this channel, I feel like, is more about just learning the next new thing. It's about figuring out what you love, building a life and a career that you enjoy, making an impact in your community and your family and in the world. That's all I got. I'll catch you guys next time.